Lonnell Williams, and we've been talking about how he's traveled, and we talked a little bit about his travels and his stays in Ghana and how that's impacted him as an African American. But when we first started talking, we talked about how the travel has been part of your manifestation practice.
Absolutely.
And so we were going to spend a little more time talking about what is manifestation, how did that happen, and some of the practices that you engage in, and even the fact that you will be speaking here in Atlanta in April
20th.
So let's start with first, on April 20th, you're speaking in Atlanta. Let's talk about that first.
Yes. A young lady named Sarah Centrella has a book called Hustle, Believe, Receive, which was actually an Amazon bestseller, my girl. And I'm actually featured in the book. And she tours the country doing, she calls them future boards, which is similar to a vision board. It's a little different, but it's future boards. And we're actually conducting a class on how to manifest your dreams and doing your future board and different techniques that she uses, some that are different than from what I use. And we're going to share that with Atlanta. This is my first time actually doing one with her. When the book first launched, we did some press together for ABC in New York, and actually both times we did like press together in New York. But this is our first time doing the future boards together. She's been doing them all over the country. Her book's doing very well.
And she has a follow-up book too, right?
Yes, her new book will be out later this year. So I'm excited. I love my Sarah.
Yay! Okay, so let's talk about that. So you were doing the manifestation, and that's one of the ways that you met Sarah, but it's also one of the ways that you got to travel so much.
Right.
Initially, we're talking about how you weren't in love with your job and you wanted something different, and I know from personal experience that you were missing the travel.
Yes. So you always plant the seed. For me, the first thing is start just planting a mental seed with what it is that you want to do, and then being mindful of how you water that seed. Are you watering it with clean, pure water, or are you watering it with bleach? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you going to give it to flourish? So it starts with really understanding that you are deserving of your dreams.
That's right.
And a lot of us don't feel that from whatever generational stuff we've been guilted into or misled into believing. So it starts with that, understanding that, you know what, I am worthy. I am worthy of achieving my dreams. Because I don't believe that you are granted a dream if the universe doesn't have a plan for you to fulfill it. You just need to be obedient to the calling on your life and move in that direction. But so often we aren't obedient to the calling of our own lives. We enslave ourselves to other people's perceptions or other people's expectations of our lives. And then we wonder how come we're miserable.
You know, that statement right there is a truism. When I started telling people, hey, I've done this video blog and I'm posting and I've decided to do it, more than one person said, well, who did you talk to about it? And I said, I didn't talk to anybody about it. I made up my mind. This is what I wanted to do. This is the way I wanted to do it. I didn't ask anybody's opinion about what topic I was going to use. I just did it.
Right.
And avenues and people have come to me surprisingly easily. You know, you're a busy man. The fact that I was telling you about it and you said, oh, I'm in town this week. I don't remember the last time you've been in town 2 weeks in a row.
Me either.
So it was just fortuitous that you were available at a time when this was perfect timing for me. That is, you have to believe, and then you have to know that it, just as you said, it wouldn't come to you if there weren't going to be an avenue for you to fulfill it.
There's definitely a divine plan, otherwise you wouldn't have the dream.
That's right.
So you just have to make sure that it's your dream. And a lot of times we're guilty because we don't, it's like, you know, and we also just focus a lot of times on the material things. And that's fine, because I'm good at manifesting that too. But why do you want that? Or why, you know, is that really your dream, or is that the dream you want to have to show people so that your Instagram is lit?
That's right. Well, and you know, we forget too that this all comes straight from the Bible. And I want to emphasize that because so many people misread things. But the truth is, even in Psalms 37:4, it says, delight in the Lord and he'll grant you the desires of your heart. In Matthew, it says, knock and it shall be answered. Ask and you shall receive. We are supposed to live our lives in this fashion.
Live your best life.
But in addition, the prayer says, on earth as it is in heaven.
Right.
It's not supposed to be,
And
that doesn't mean that heaven's got people raping, killing, and eating babies either. We're supposed to be trying to love one another.
Right.
But that is what
it's
you're living. You're living the life that God intends.
Right.
So go ahead. So tell me. So first, you get the seed. Because I'm not as good at manifesting as he is. So I'm trying.
So that's the main thing. You have to understand that you're deserving of it, right? So then you have to plant the seed. So for me, I do the future boarding or the vision boards, because that is a visual reminder of me daily that, oh yes, this is where I see myself. And how is this going to feel when I get this car or when I go to this country that's on my bucket list, or if I go skydiving? Any of these things that are part of my dream, my vision. How do I expect to feel in that moment? And I try to nurse and bring forth that emotion in the vision, so long before I get there. And the easiest way that I have found over the years of doing this, the fastest way to expedite your vision is through gratitude. I swear that will accelerate the process.
And what do you express? Because I've gone to several different people, and some people say you express gratitude for what you want in advance. Are you doing that, or are you doing gratitude for what you already have?
Both. I do them both.
Okay.
My main practice is every day, and I have a gratitude accountability partner that I've had, my friend Rich in California, for like 3 years now. And we send our stuff to each other every day. Excuse me, I gotta send him mine for yesterday. I forgot. But at least 5 things that I'm grateful for each day.
Oh, wow.
And some days it's hard. Some days it's like, I'm thankful that I'm breathing. Thank you.
God, you know what happened.
I was like, okay, I'm trying. So but I have to find at least 5 things. I try to go find 10. But what it does, Jen, is it shifts your mindset so that you go through the day looking for things to be grateful for. As opposed to how many of us tend to go through the day worrying about stuff and then being fearful of things and then building on that and then not understanding why our world is so miserable. Well, that's all you do. If all you focus on is misery, that's what you're going to manifest is misery. So you have to just change that mindset. And I find that if you find things to be grateful for, and like I said, some days it is hard.
So you do the 5 things you're grateful for that day, and then you also thank God for the things that you are hoping to
I see myself, that's the time that's why I have that vision board. So when I look at this thing, I'm like, okay, that's, I'm grateful for that, and so it is here, I see it, so I'm constantly, being grateful for that as well.
And so you do the 2 every day. Mm-hmm. What do you do when you travel? Do you take your vision board with you? Do you
There's an app for that. I do.
Really? There's an app for
There's
that?
several vision board apps. Yes, I have them on my phone so I can look at the different things. Yeah. And they're free.
What are they?
Just go into the app store and just do vision board.
Really?
They'll come up.
So you can do a vision board on your phone that is similar to the vision board, like mine is right over there on the wall.
Right.
So you have one that's like that, and then how long do you keep your vision boards? Do you change them up every 6 months, or do you keep them until you achieve everything?
I don't. That's a good question because it varies. Because it's right now the current one that I have. I decided yesterday actually that I'm going to amend it because most of the stuff on it has manifest. There are 2 things on there. There are material things that have not manifest yet, and they've been on there for a while. But I had to get real with myself because I realized that what I was doing is that I wasn't committing totally spiritually, with faith to the process because I'm still in the back of my mind trying to figure it out, like financially, because they're material things, and so I'm blocking the blessing or I'm delaying the blessing, I should say, because I'm trying because money, I'm seeing money as the only path, and it's like no. Now when there's some other things where I just had blind faith, for example, with President and Mrs. Obama. 2 years ago, not even quite 2 years ago, I put on my vision board that I wanted to meet them. I didn't know how I was going to meet them. But, my intention was I just want to meet them and thank them for being so graceful and inspirational, and maybe get a picture with them. That was the intention. year and a half later, I ended up spending 2 full days with them.
How did that happen?
So they actually, President Obama spoke for my company, and I handled the travel. So we had to go to Hawaii to get him and bring him to Arizona, where we had the meeting where he was speaking. And then the next day, we took him from Arizona back to D.C. And Mrs. Obama and Sonny and Bo, and then some of their staff members. And who gets that kind of intimate time and space with both of the Obamas?
And then that you're like, that's so random.
It's so random, and literally. It was
and then you're not the only flight attendant working on that plane. No. So I mean that is so random. It could have been somebody else's.
Random. It's so random. And
did you even know when you went to Hawaii that was?
Well, I knew then. I knew beforehand because I had to get cleared through the Secret Service.
But you didn't know that you were going to get that assignment.
No, not until, I knew about a month before.
But I mean, like, it was random.
But it was random that I got, because I literally got a random email saying we need, there's a VIP flight and we need Secret Service clearance. So I knew it was probably a president or a vice president. I didn't know which one because many others have.
It could have been the Clintons,
right? So, and it has been in the past, except I didn't get to work those flights, and so.
It's so random.
So yeah, that happened, and then of course, as it got closer, I realized who it was going to be. And can you imagine having that and not being able to tell anybody?
I know, right?
I couldn't tell anybody, and so I was like, "Oh my God, my head's going to explode! I want to scream." So when I actually posted the first picture, people just went nuts, and I knew people would like the picture or whatever, but I didn't realize that they would go nuts, and not so much nuts because. I got a picture with the Obamas, but nuts
you
because
got famous pictures all over the place.
So lots of that, but just really the manifestation, and because that's when I posted. I said this is literally something I put on my vision board in February of 2017, and here it is. 2016. It was because it was 20. No, this is 2019. No, it was 2017. Because it wasn't quite 2 years. And here we are. And again, like I said, when I put that on there, it was blind. Like, I ain't got a clue how you're going to bring this to life. But,
Yeah, because you don't run in those circles.
I don't run in those circles. So my thing is, let me put it up there and, oh God, work it out. Wow. And so then that happens. So I have to apply that same kind of blind, not necessarily blind faith, but just staunch faith. I mean, it has to be really truly rooted in faith because I don't know how. I don't have a plan to make it happen. I have to apply that same energy and principle to the material things and stop trying to figure out financially how am I going to make this work. And so now that I've acknowledged and accepted that, I've kind of changed my mindset about those material things. So now I'm really excited to see how they're going to manifest because I ain't got a clue. Because that's some expensive stuff, right? So I was like, oh, okay, go on, God, work it out. So, but yeah, it's definitely, and that's part of the watering the seed process. Like, I'm always looking at those visuals regularly to remind myself, you know what, I'm worthy, and this is something that I can achieve. And then I just have to do my part. And my part is like, what is the next right move? I just try to do it one step at a time. I just try to get still and be guided one step at a time and just pay attention to things. Because when if I try to figure out, getting to the goal, the path or whatever, the how is not my problem. That's not my thing to do. I speak the answer and get out the way. Now that doesn't mean you don't have to work. You still do.
You do have to work.
But you actually work more. You work harder because you really gotta be spiritually in tune and listening to.
And mentally disciplined.
Mentally disciplined. And it is a process, but you can definitely have it. So you get up in the morning and do you write your 5 things you're grateful for in the morning or before you go to bed? I kind of write. There's an app on my phone, and I kind of just go through them. There's an app for that. There's an app for that. And I go through, like, when something happens, I try to write it down right then and there. Because sometimes by the end of the day, I'll forget because so many great things have happened. I'm like, well, what did I do earlier today? What am I grateful for today? And then I have to go back and rewind. So I try to do it in real time as much as I can. But when something happens... Okay. So, and with the app, and then you just email that app or text that? Yeah, I email it to Rich, and he sends me his every day. And we started doing that. We did an online course with Ariana Huffington called Thrive, like a few years ago. And part of it was to keep a gratitude journal. And that's how we started. But she said in the class, you need to find someone in class to have as an accountability partner where you guys exchange your things every day. So once the class was done, we just kept doing it. And we still do it. Oh, wow. Still do it all these years later. So it's just been great, but it keeps me responsible. Like, okay, oh yeah, because sometimes I'm like,
you're responsible for your own happiness.
Your own happiness. And now I've got somebody else looking like, dude, what's up? Where's my entries for today? So you have someone to help you be accountable, and it's life changing because, like I said, I go through every day looking for things to be grateful for, not what's wrong.
And that makes you a happier person.
It makes you a happier person. And even when things are wrong, I realize that they're not necessarily wrong. They're just lessons. Mm-hmm. And that's like, okay, this needs to get my attention. Okay, what am I supposed to learn here? And now what I've learned is to obey the whispers. Because before, you get that little thing, this, you get these little whispers about a situation or a person that is not right. For me, it's been like dating. It's like, okay, you know this person is not right. But, ooh, Lord, he's fine. So,
or actually, I've had the reverse, which is my whisper keeps saying, no, not yet. My whisper is definitely just sit still. It's just not yet.
Obey it. Because otherwise, don't be like me and wait till the house comes crumbling down and suddenly like, oh, now you got my attention, universe. Now that I'm balled out on the floor of this hotel room crying over this nonsense.
Yeah, and isn't it the truth? It's always at that moment that you decide, okay, now maybe I should listen. Right. Maybe I should pray. Or,
right. It's like, you should have been doing that 2 years ago when I was trying to tell you, tap, tap, tap.
No, not this direction.
It's not this direction. So I've learned to, not just to listen to those whispers, but to obey them. So now when I get that little whisper or that little inkling, I am like, at attention, undivided. So what is the lesson? Because I'm not trying to have the house fall down. I'm getting too old for this.
Isn't it the truth? So, like it was cute when you were 25, when you curled up in the ball crying in the bathroom. Yeah. But now you're like, whatever plus, and you're just like, you haven't learned yet.
Right. And who wants to be that person?
Yeah, who wants to be that person anymore? Yes. I think if there's some beauty and drama when you're 25, it's just not pretty when you're 45.
It's just not pretty. So yes, I've learned to just really obey those whispers, and that's a major part of manifesting, because those whispers are the roadblocks or the lessons that are preparing you for the blessing that you've asked for. So all of these things have a purpose. So that's what you need to understand, that no experience is wasted. Everything has a divine purpose. So get the lesson so that when you achieve the blessing, that you're able to actually handle it.
Okay, God, I've learned the lesson of being broke, and I can handle some wealth right now. Okay. God, angels, anybody who's listening, I'm just gonna put it out there that I have learned that lesson.
Okay, all right. You have spoken, so now you got to get still and listen. Now you've articulated it, so
I've articulated it once a day for the last 45 years.
But are you listening and?
No, I'm not.
And finding step by step. Yeah. So once you do that, it'll happen when you're ready for it to happen. Because if
I'm ready.
Okay.
From deep in my soul, I'm ready.
I'm ready. So yeah, and then And have you been specific with the universe on how that looks to you? What does wealthy mean to you? I'm not saying you have to answer that to me, but I'm saying but you do need to be specific with the creator of how that looks.
Yeah, I am specific in how that looks, because some people want Jay-Z's life. I don't. I want enough money to pay all of my bills, do the things that I want to do, which is not. I'm not trying to. I want to stay in this house. Which is a modest home, and I don't want an expensive car. I don't want those kind of materials. I want to be able to travel at will. I want to be able to help my friends and family out when they need money, and I want to be out of debt. I'm not trying to.
Okay, so that So
like a $500,000 lottery win would clear me up.
Clear you. But I don't know.
With enough money to do all the other things I want to do, make some improvements in the house and that kind. Maybe even throw John in a private school for a minute.
Okay, and then so you win the lotto, or you get this for $500,000
after taxes.
Are you being a good steward over this money so that you don't find yourself in the same situation of debt in another 5 years?
Yeah.
So are you getting? So what is the lesson of the dots that you need to connect, so that you can be a good steward over that $500,000 or whatever? And I'm in a similar situation too, because I'm like, okay, China, you've got
Where does it go?
And you've got resources coming here and there. What do you mean you're trying to pay your light bill this month? Yeah. So maybe that's not so much on the universe as it is on me not necessarily being as good a steward over what I've got. True. So that's been a challenge for me also.
And it's a difficult challenge because you want to help people, and I help people before one of my things is I help people before I am truly ready to help them. My business is the law. This is my fund. And I just got a call today from the guy that's going to help me do some marketing for my business. And it's a nice chunk of change that I need to pay him. And so I said, look, I can't afford you, but you are the person I want to go with. And I just can't do it this month. But keep calling me every month because one of these months I'm going to have the money because you're on my radar. I just can't do it now. And he said, you're smarter than a lot of my other clients because you're trying to put it in your budget. The truth is you sign a 3-month contract. It's expensive. You get some clients, but if they don't pay you when they need to pay you, you're in a bind.
Right.
And the objective is to put yourself in the position such that when you start a major marketing platform, you have the money there so that whatever the clients do payment wise, you can still exist.
You can still exist, right.
And that's it. And that's that kind of that notion that reaffirms that I am moving in the right direction.
Right.
Because I can remember when I would have done everything, swallowed everything to get this marketing out here, knowing that I'm going to get these clients without actually having it in my budget. And then the next month they would not have paid. And then I would have been like, Jesus Christ.
Right.
I guess I shouldn't say that because that's losing the Lord's name in vain. But I would have been like, oh my goodness, and then it would have been and then dominoes would have started falling.
Then they would start falling, right?
Yeah.
And again, if you pay attention, which you're doing obviously now, so you're getting those lessons, and it's never like in the fashion or the speed that we necessarily want things to manifest. That's the other thing. You don't get to dictate the timetable.
Yeah.
So you've got to be steadfast in your faith of it.
But you know what? Haven't you found, because I have manifested some things pretty remarkably over the course of, we've known each other for a long time. And I know you remember when I never thought I was going to get married or have children.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have 3 children and, married a wonderful man. But I have manifested some of those things, but I have always found that even though it wasn't on my timetable, it was always the best.
Right. That's the key right there.
It is always like I've stopped having a timetable because when, for example, right now I would like to be making more money, and it has not become manifest, and it has caused me, some sleepless nights. And then I realized that, it'll come when it comes, and when that day comes, it'll be the right time for everybody at the right way, and I will be able to. And I've been sleeping through the night ever since. Because I stopped worrying about it.
Right.
That doesn't mean that it's not on my mind and I'm not cognizant of the fact that I need to make some changes, but I'm not as stressed out about when it comes.
And that right there is just a huge improvement on your quality of life. The fact that you're sleeping at night over something that you can't necessarily control or fix overnight.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're deteriorating your body by not staying and punishing your body by staying up with these restless nights. No, so that's right. You're taking the right steps. So sleeping at night is huge.
And when clients don't hire me now, I no longer think, oh my God, I missed out on money. I think, thank you God, because that wouldn't have been a good fit.
Amen. So what you've done is the key thing. You've had this whole mental shift.
Right? I am grateful when clients don't hire me anymore.
Yeah.
I can remember when maybe I should have charged less. No, I've started charging my rate, and I am grateful every time somebody passes. And I'm not the highest charging person anyway, but I am grateful every time somebody says, you know what, you're not a good fit.
Know your worth and stand by that.
Yeah, but it's not even knowing. It is the knowledge that my rates really aren't the top of the scale, and if you're not willing to pay that,
right,
you can't afford to do whatever it is you're trying to do.
So there you have it. But it's understanding that because some people will try to.
Yes, and then the people that pay you the least amount will worry you to death.
Right, they will demand the most. That's just in every facet of life. They will just
Isn't it the
wear you
truth?
out. They do. They do.
Wear you
They will
out.
try to wear you out. I was like, no.
And then also recognizing, I don't know, we were talking about this at the house just a couple weeks ago when we were talking about how I have often felt like I would be unable to find a good mate and make as much money as I wanted to make. And I've sabotaged myself over the last 20 years thinking that my professional success will prevent me from having the success in my personal life that I wanted. Realizing that those two things are not the case, that's just a fallacy that I created, has been mind-changing, spirit-changing for me, because now I'm not sabotaging either one.
Either one. And watch those blessings flow. They just do.
They do.
They really do.
Whenever it is you find out what your block is,
once you address
it, and then you really let it go. Because it's one thing to recognize what your block is.
Right.
It's something else again to actually
do that actual
move
work.
it out of the way.
And that's a continual process. It's not like...
It's not one time.
Okay, one time, and then now I feel better, but then a day later, those feelings come back.
That's
so
right.
You got to do that same work over again.
You feel the same anxiety over it. You meet the guy, and you think, oh my goodness, or you get the client, and you think it's going to take too much time, and whatever it is. I found this week, I've gotten a new client every day.
See?
And money's come to my bank account back today.
Hallelujah, y'all heard that? Lunch
I
on
opened up
Jan.
my bank account and there the money was, and I said, "Oh, now look at that."
So something to be grateful for.
It's something to be grateful for, and it is the kind of thing that we have to live and manifest every
day.
Single day.
Every day you wake up on this side of the dirt, you have work to do.
I'm going to talk to you about getting those apps, both for the vision boards and the gratitude. That is life-changing.
And it's on your phone, so you can do it right in the moment at any time. You sure can.
That is life-changing. And let me just tell you, now that we're talking about apps, it's completely unrelated to manifesting or gratitude. Have you seen RoboKiller?
No.
RoboKiller kills the robocalls. It was on ABC.
Yes.
Good
I
morning.
do have that app. I have that. Because people call you and then it starts talking to them. I love it.
So yesterday I had 10 robocalls in a row. And I'm getting the app. I just wanted to say that because we were on the app conversation.
Yes,
and
I do have that app actually.
That is actually supposed to be like everyone.
It's hilarious because it starts talking to people. They think they're talking to a person. It's as annoying to them as it is to us when they with the robocalls.
I love it. I'm getting it.
Sorry
for the little diversion, but that's like real conversation between the two of us. That was the most real part of this conversation today, was me saying robocalls. Alrighty, thank you so much for joining us today. We have loved talking to you.
Yes, see you April 20th in Atlanta.
Yay! I will be there.
And just check on my Facebook page. Just Google Lonnell Williams or whatever, or Sarah Centrella, and we'll have the details there for you.
And I will be there, and so will my son, because this is the kind of stuff that kids need to start learning early. Why should he wait to be 45 to learn how to manifest? Although I'm not 45. But why should he wait till he's 45 to learn how to manifest when he can learn at 11? Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.